Ahoy! There are two things happening in New World at the moment, more or less. One of them you can see here, that's the new update, we'll very briefly talk about that. But then, more importantly, there are some things surrounding the whole playtest that are a pretty bad sign, I think. So let's quickly look at the patch first. This is the update that we're having right now, the 5.04, which is once again the Fury of the Spriggan. It should already be deployed on every server by now. And what we're getting here is the same event again. I don't think there are any changes to it as far as the description goes. They actually originally just copied it from last year. I needed to correct a little bit because it had Angry Earth, Bane, and Ward still mentioned. Yeah, you can get a bunch of rewards that you can see here, but really this is nothing new to anyone who's played last year. And I don't think we've had many players that come in that want to specifically get these rewards, these outfits or whatever. So here's an overview of the full rewards. They now mention that you have a health perk instead of Angry Earth perks. And that's pretty much it. Nothing here really that relevant. If you haven't gotten the Brazier last year because you had the bug, then maybe you can get that. But what we can briefly talk about is some changes here. So for combat, the life staff healing abilities will now cancel properly without costing mana or incurring ability cooldown when casting a healing spell, and the locked to target dips out of its healing range. So that's a good change. Fixed an issue with the bow that costs slightly faster attack speed when cancelling the rain of arrows, penetrating shot, or poison shot abilities. This is just attempt number 150 to try and fix this on the bow. Yeah, not really much to say there. And then fix an issue that costs attack cancelling a dodge and then dodging again to not decrease stamina. Also an issue that's been there since the new combat system came. They've just been going back and forth with stamina. And mounts can no longer jump Luna outpost walls to bypass the outpost gates. This is, I think, a good important change because obviously this hurt the game balance, the game mode balance a lot if your server has OPR going at the moment in the first place. And seasonal items updated the 24 summer armor patterns to have the correct level requirements. That's it for the patch. What I think is very interesting is this. So Randrogenous posted a list for keys for the console closed beta access on Reddit, and you can see a bunch of different websites are offering keys here. And what I think is really interesting about this is that the number of claimed keys seems to be extremely low. So as you can see, this was posted 2 days ago at this point, and we can, for example, look at the Xbox one, which I think is a bit more in demand. The PlayStation one is for some reason split between EU and US, but the Xbox one is not. But you can see that 2 days ago we had 4,857 remaining, and if we look now, it's 4,188. So even with all of these keys being available at once, the demand seems to be relatively slow, and I don't think all the keys are gonna go. And you can just claim one, like you can just go on any of these websites, probably sign up there, and then you can just get a key for yourself. If you're a console player, you don't even need to go through the whole process of the original sign-ups that they had. You can just go here and say, okay, mmorpg.com, I want my key. I'll claim that here, or whichever of these websites you want to go for. So that could be the reason why they delayed the beta. That was a suggestion that some people had made earlier, that the playtest may have been delayed because they just didn't have enough sign-ups, which would also explain why they're doing this initiative now to get more people to play, which would not be a good sign for console because, again, this is a free key. This is a free way to play the game before it comes out, and when the game actually comes out, you'll have to pay for it. So if the demand is already low when it's free, then what does that mean for the paid version? Doesn't necessarily need to imply things. It could also be that people just don't want to be beta testers for what is essentially a game that has been being tested in various ways already. And from the experience that we have so far, the feedback that you give now may not be something, or will likely be not something, that would be implemented when the game launches, but rather much later than that. So I could see the motivation to test also simply being low, but I do think that this statistic here, or these numbers here, are pretty interesting. We can also look at the PlayStation numbers here for comparison. So this is supposed to be 30,000 and 10,000 originally, I guess. And yeah, we still have 29,000 remaining here. We still have 9,300 here. So like a couple of hundred have been claimed, and I'm sure the other sites are similar. But generally speaking, far from a dramatic demand. And here we still have 46% left. We don't know how many they had originally. Ironically, as things are looking fairly rocky for New World, things are looking much better for Throne and Liberty than we originally anticipated, with a lot of hype around the game at the moment. I'd like to talk about that a little bit the next days. If you're interested in that, consider subscribing and clicking the bell, and give a bit of my own thoughts on that, if I think the hype is justified or not. For now, thanks for watching. If you'd like to support me further, you can do so on Patreon. Thanks to all of my patrons who I do exactly that, and thank you for watching. UNCLAIMED, out.